master's in AI, and I'm going to tell you whether I would recommend it or I would not. So first of all, I never thought that I would go back to university and do a master's in AI. Firstly, it was sponsored, so I just thought, like, you know what, this is just knowledge, free knowledge. But secondly, prior to this, when I was learning how to code and getting into tech, I was doing all the courses. I invested in quite a few courses, quite heavily into a few courses, which, to be honest with you, just turned out to be run by cowboys that didn't really know much than what was on YouTube. And I'll make a separate video about that another day. So I thought, you know what, this is great. Like, let me just go straight to the source. Now, don't get me wrong, it was so much more in depth, and it was so much more rich than obviously the courses that I had taken before. However, I would say in general, but especially with AI, right? Because AI is so fast moving. It's like the pace it goes at is just ridiculous. And the material that's taught in universities is kind of lagging to industry. So you're learning a lot of like foundational methods, and like you do learn a lot of kind of business facing things like systems and stuff like that, but you do learn a lot of engineering within like the AI masters, so, or like programming, engineering stuff, and a lot of that stuff is quite outdated. Like when you go into industry, there's a lot of, you know, things that they do with Gen AI, or, you know, you just download this application or this library and it does it for you. But in university, you're learning like the maths, the, like, you know, the traditional ways of doing things and stuff. So I felt that those things are good to know, don't get me wrong, it deepens your understanding, but when literally you value time and then you're thinking about, okay, well, after this, I need to apply this to industry, you need to double down. Like, that's what I ended up doing and still do to this day. Like, it's like you're doing your master's, but at the same time, you're catching up with industry as well. So you're learning about APIs and things like that. You don't learn that in AI masters. You think you would, but you don't. So it's like you have to do both at the same time. And another thing I would say is it kind of does kill your creativity. And that was the most annoying part for me, and especially being with AI. Like, AI is just a newfound intelligence, and it's just above everything. Like, you can just get so creative with things that you can do and things that you can produce, and, you know, solutions you can create. And being in the environment where everything is so like, you have to learn this, there was no real room for like, okay, well, get creative with AI. What can you do? Like, you can do it with your dissertation a bit at the end, but then that's just a very heavy piece of work. And you can, you know, in that sense. Overall, would I recommend it? I would say that yes, if it is something that you need for your career progression. Like, this is something that if you want to get a job in AI and it requires you to have a master's, then yeah, I would recommend it. However, is it necessary to work in AI? I would say no, but you need to have a very rich and high level understanding of AI, and you can learn this from YouTube, but you seriously need to dedicate yourself to it. You need to learn the skills, build projects. That's another thing. Even though I was doing my master's, I was still doing projects. I'm doing my assignments, I'm doing projects, and then I'm learning things like that industry is using, but they're not teaching in my master's. It was a lot. It still is a lot, but that's just the journey. I also feel like being in tech, like, you have to forever learn, and you never stop learning. It's something where you're always having to apply yourself. So that's really my 2 pence, and I hope that helps.